All right. All right, let me know when you can see.
Ah, I see.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining for our June meeting. It's June already, and it's time for Field Day. So first, we'll. Oh, let me ask Carol. I should have asked to start with. Do we have someone from HRO on this evening?
No, unfortunately, I don't believe that they're going to show up. I'm sorry. They're
Okay.
actually flying back to the East Coast.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, maybe on a upcoming meeting, maybe next month they'll be in a better position to give us an update. I imagine they're pretty busy.
I would think.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, we'll do our normal club business, and then Tom Cutter N6BS is going to be doing our main presentation tonight, talking about Field Day for this year.
I do have the slideshow though that I talked about.
Oh, okay. Do you want to share those first? Have you got them?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and do that.
Sure. Okay.
If you can let me share my screen here.
Okay.
Let's see.
There you
go. Okay, you all seeing that now?
No. Not. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, great. This is okay. Ham Radio Outlet. Of course, everybody knows the news that they're opening a store here in Sacramento, and they're over on Auburn Boulevard by College Oak, just about 1 block away from the old HFD Electronics. I've been checking out the building there because some of us live quite close to this. I'm only like a 5-minute drive away. So I went by the location when they first put up their signage and took pictures of the signage. And there it is. It's 4813 Auburn Boulevard. And this was before anything was actually in the store. These pictures were from May 5th. And oh, there's the map, so you can see exactly where it is. Pretty convenient to get to off I-80. You can take the Madison Avenue exit there and turn right on College Oak Drive and get in there pretty easily. This was a couple of weeks later when they already had some signage in the window. Nice big sign there. Again, there was no any kind of inventory in the store. But this, okay, here, this is Steve Gilmore. He's the national sales manager, and he flew out here from the Washington, D.C. area to help the original setup. This is when they were still doing construction inside. He was setting up the computer system. And this is the operations manager, Rich from Phoenix, Arizona, HRO. And they were hard at work for the entire past week, scrambling to get stuff together. And there they are, just wiring up the stuff. And then they actually had some, they received a new shipment of inventory last week. And this was just a very small part of it. This was the new inventory. And they were still waiting to transfer the inventory from the Oakland store, which they're closing. And this is still just the new inventory that was in. And now this picture was just taken this morning. Actually, I went over there. There's new staff already in the store working. And what they're doing is unpacking boxes. A lot of the inventory came over from Oakland, and they're stocking the shelves. And it's a process that's going to take a couple of weeks to get it all in order. There's a bunch of really good publications already set out. Let's see, they have their hands full. A lot of coaxial cable. It's awesome to be able to have this available here in town. Sacramento has done about 20 years without having a radio store like this in town. So this is a great, it is a great resource for our community. And if we want to make sure that they stay in business and prosperous here, we really do need to patronize them. And they are planning to, after they open, which they're planning sometime in mid-June, They are going to be doing some promotional events for local radio clubs. So we look forward to that. And they did donate a handheld radio, which was a door prize at the Carmichael Elks ham swap, which was last Sunday, very generously. So
Who won?
the winner was Tom NN6H. He's from Discovery Bay, so he's from out of the area. But I'm glad we saw a lot of our club members show up at the Carmichael Elks ham swap. I'm glad to see you there, Dan. Glad that you all stopped by also the ARRL booth where I was working. So thank you, and back to Kevin.
Okay, thanks, Carol. Thanks for the update.
Sure.
I think Jojo, you just joined. I've got your slides. I can present for you if you've just got audio. Do you want to do membership and treasury update for us?
Okay, let me open up my file. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to share it, or can you share?
Oh, yeah. You can share it, please.
Yeah, hold on.
Present, as it takes a while to open up the drive.
Okay, hold on. Okay, how's that? Is that big enough?
Okay. Okay, I hope people can see the one-page document. This is Jojo, KN6HTV, the club's treasurer and membership chair. And I'm presenting the treasurer's report for today. And we always welcome our new members, or one member, Richard WB6BIT. I don't know if you are here, but welcome to the club. So our club is growing in number. We have 138 now. It used to be just about 120 during the first quarter of the year. We have 82 ARRL members, and that's 66% of the total. Okay. Second part is our income, and we always give our gratitude to the recurrent donors. David, KM6GYM, Frank, KI6BWN, and you can see that I donated something because I'm happy to share that I don't have to make a trip to the bank anymore, and that saves me a lot of time and money. I can just take a photo of the checks that you send me, and it goes to the bank instantaneously. And it helps everybody, especially the accounting work and the transparency of the process. So thank you for that. That's one big step. So we received $160 for membership dues. And you can imagine that's at least 8 people. Some are renewal payments, so about 3 people renewed. We have the 38.34 repeater donations, and the club has come up with a QRP watt meter kit, and it has gone over the break-even amount that we spent buying the materials. So we have a $90 surplus. So we're good to go with the project, and we have some profit. Right now, we're back to the $8,000 level of our bank funds. And this is comprised of 6,049.14 general fund and a little over 2,000 for the repeater fund. So I always hear that when it's in this level, we have a healthy budget. So good news for the club. Okay, unless you have questions, we'll move on to the recent news or agenda items. And Carol already, or must have mentioned about the successful Carmichael Elks ham swap. It's the first I've attended to, and from what I heard, it's the biggest so far. And everybody's happy, including the hosts, of course. And it means we can do it again. People are already asking, when is the next one? Well, I'm sure it will be next year. There will be other ham swaps in other places. So good job for those who attended. I met Tom Cutter in person and a few others. Oh, I'm happy that my whole family supported me. They made the raffle draw so much easier and more fun. They went around and sold tickets. So that's a fun part. Next is the announcement. We have the June 19 monthly VE session at Carmichael Elks. For anybody you know who wants to get their first ticket, you can just show up or notify the exam coordinator, VAS. And then the field day that we're preparing for June 26 and 27. I'm also preparing for that. Okay, that's my report. I have that last part to ask each one of you how many of the members have not participated in a field day yet. This might be the best time to do it because we're doing it in person again. And then who among you are planning to attend field day 2021? So since this is a general membership meeting, we hope that this invitation will make you excited to be part of the in-person field day. And then what do you wish to learn during field day? And I guess most of us will be having fun doing the contesting part, but certainly there should be food to enjoy, new friends to meet, and develop relationships with. So I hope you can come and we'll make this work and fun for everyone. So that's my report, and thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jojo. And if you want to answer those questions in the chat window, as Tom's doing his presentation, you can put your answers in the chat window, or maybe when we've finished with Tom's session, we can open it up and just have a general discussion. If we've got a few minutes at the end, we can do that. All right, okay. Carol, are you able to give us a club website and social media update?
Absolutely. If we can stop sharing that.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. And here, we over to the PowerPoint. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Very well. This is a report of our website for May 2021. And just a reminder that our website is n6na.org. And we try to keep it up to date with all of the latest events and the schedule of all of our club activities. Have all the net times and our meeting times there on the calendar right on the front page. Reminder that our nets are Wednesday nights. So while the daily health and welfare net is no more, I need to take this off this slide. And I want to thank Bob N6PGQ and KL7HQR and everyone who donated their time as net controls for almost a year doing that. It was awesome. Wednesday, tomorrow, we're going to start at 8 p.m. with the 2-meter net on a 145.25 megahertz repeater. And you can also check in on EchoLink or All-Star if you have an All-Star node. At 8:30, we do the 10-meter net. And everybody's welcome to check in there. Hams of all licensed classes, technicians can use that frequency as well. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll do the slow scan TV net on 441.30 megahertz repeater. And that is also streamed live on YouTube. The DIY radio group has its own page on our website, and they stopped taking orders on May 30th. So I guess the kits are in process of being put together, and we're going to notify participants when they're available. I was wondering, Phil, do you have any updates on that? Phil Sittner? You can go
Carol,
ahead.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
At this point, I'm missing one component. Otherwise, the kits are complete. And with a little bit of luck, I'll get those parts yet this week. And I'll see about how quickly we can get them out to everyone. We ended up with 10 builders. And I put one of these kits together. You guys can see it all up here, what these things look like. They're incredibly accurate. And I put a second one together just to see if it would perform as well as the first, and they're both spot on. So that little tiny thing is good from 160 meters, actually lower than that. And it goes completely through UHF, and it peaks out at 11-watt capacity. So it's designed for QRP, but it works with HTs as well. I'm pretty impressed with how well it performs.
A question.
Question?
Phil, on the I know the kit does not include the container. There will be some recommendations on containers.
Actually, yes. I've got one right here. Do you have your pencil handy?
Yes, I do.
The one that I built this in came from Jameco. And you got your, I think he's running for a pencil. I'll wait till he gets back.
Back.
Okay, part number 141832. It's about $9. Anybody who's been in the home brew business has discovered quickly that oftentimes the enclosure costs more than the stuff it takes to build and put in it. But $9 isn't too bad, and it's a nice clean package. You don't have to cut any holes for the display, which is typically the most difficult part. So for $9, I don't think it's too bad a deal.
I would agree.
Not everybody's got a milling machine in the garage.
True
Or a
that.
3D printer.
Or a 3D printer, yeah.
Well, it's pretty hard to do clear 3D printing, isn't it?
Probably,
So-
but I think a cheap tap plastic cover over a nice box isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Yeah, Bill, this is Hank, on the 3D printer for printing clear. Yeah, you just don't put any film in it, that's all.
Oh, it's an air cover,
Virtual.
100%
Here,
clarity.
you
I
got
like
it.
it.
You got it.
And then you can use the enclosure to bail out your boat when you're out fishing, right?
I know.
Shall we proceed here?
Do
Okay,
it.
next.
Okay, and just to remind everyone, we also have a swap page. If anybody has any equipment that they weren't able to sell at the swap meet or something they want to unload, certainly send us an email to swap@n6na.org and we can post it for you on our swap page on the website. This is for a service to River City Arts members. As far as our website activity for May, the total page views did decrease from April. It went down from 5943 to 2292. Now that's a big drop. And we identified the reason why there was such a big spike in views in April was for some reason our 10-meter page went viral. And I think it had to do with a lot of talk going on about the recent increase in propagation on 10 meters. There's a lot of skip coming in on 10 meters, F2 layer as well as sporadic E. So if any of you have 10-meter stations out there and haven't been enjoying getting on the air and listening to what's going on during the daylight hours, we're getting some really good long distance contacts on 10 meters, which is usually has been a dead band here for several years. So the peak views were on May 12th. This past month. And again, the 10-meter page had the lion's share of the views even in May with 555. And then the homepage and then the Magnetic Loop project page. That project was from almost 10 years ago and it still attracts a lot of attention. The sources for the traffic coming to our website, 58.8% are referred by Google. And we have direct hits to N6NA .org of 27.5%. And we have visitors from all over the world to our website. Most of them, of course, still come here from California. And our social media is quite active. We had 1,066 views on our YouTube channel. We have 315 subscribers there, 523 followers on our Facebook page, 141 on Twitter, and we have 19 members on our Discord chat. And just a reminder to send an email to contact@n6na.org if you have any questions for the club, and we will definitely direct the mail to the appropriate individual. And also those are websites for our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I see Jennifer's in there, and I want to put a shout out to Jennifer K6NQP, who contacted us and said she's looking for an Elmer. She's looking for a mentor, and certainly coming to the field day site is going to be an awesome opportunity to get some hands-on experience. But if someone could possibly offer, if you need any kind of assistance sooner, we certainly could work something out here. So that's all I have, and I'll turn it back to Kevin. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Carol. Okay. Does anyone have any other items of interest for the meeting tonight before we move on to our next topic?
I have a quick question for Carol. Under upcoming area events, there's the Minden swap meet. And when I go to the page, it looks like it might be postponed. Do you have any news on that, Carol?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize if that was postponed. That must be a really late update on that. Yeah, that was supposed to be June 5th. And no, I don't see it saying it's postponed. The link is saying that it's going to actually be that day on this coming Saturday, June 5th.
Coming Saturday.
That's what it's
Minden.
It's in Minden, Nevada, so it's about a 2-hour drive from here.
Under some of the detail at the bottom, it says when postponed, not canceled, AM. I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not sure either, but the word has been going around to everybody that I think that's possibly that something that wasn't updated before they actually had a date. Now they do have a fixed date for it. It's June 5th. A lot of people are going to be showing up there.
I hope that it's vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing it the hard way otherwise.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
All right, very good. All right, anything else before we move on to our main topic?
Yeah.
All right, Tom, hand it over to you.
I think, Kevin, I had to unmute, and Sylvia gave me a background of the field day stuff behind me, so you can get an idea of what things you can find at ARRL sponsors for field day. There'll be more discussion on that. I want to talk a little bit about the history of, I've been in the club for a few years. So the history of field day, we used to meet, if you happen to visit the Farm and Tractor event over the last month. It was in a field that's got, I think Girl Scouts also meet there, and you kind of camp overnight and you set up all your antennas. And they did have a mechanical device that we did take advantage to put some antennas up in a hurry. And but it was a really hot location. There was no place to cool off unless you would get in your car and turn the engine on with the air conditioning running. Through the history, we used to have a picnic day. It was usually April, and that was at this VFW hall on Sunrise in Fair Oaks. Or Folsom, I'm not sure exactly what the city is. It's in Fair Oaks, all right. And it has this little patio area that's got fans and lights, and it's got a bar right next to it that's air conditioned and bathrooms. And so we thought by combining in 2019 field day and picnic day, we could get greater attendance. we thought it would be cooler, so we would not cook people trying to hang out and have fun. And so in 2019, Kevin was our captain, and we gave it a go. And we like the location. It is close to a lot of places. So if you, we usually put together a meal for the first Saturday, but there's a breakfast the next day, and there's usually a lunch in setting up the antennas and equipment. And it wasn't very hard to go find food. So you just go and you go to your local McDonald's or Jack in the Box or Starbucks, and you gather some stuff and bring it over, and it was easy. So this location, we kind of missed out last year during the pandemic, and we did not have a field day out in the field. We had a field day, and most people would operate out of their homes. So it was, I would call it a virtual electronic field day. We tried to get participation by a bunch of different sites, and we would all submit our logs that we collected for contacts to the ARRL collecting website. And we would say we are part of the River City ARCS club. So we would aggregate all our scores together, and it was probably our biggest total ever. But it's not a gathering point to meet people and talk, and it's not a promotional event in that everybody was everywhere. It was hard to interact, and so this year we are so close to opening up California on the 15th, and the field day is always the the fourth Saturday of June every year. That, hey, we could actually have a field day theoretically, in that a lot of people are vaccinated, but not everybody. There are kids 12 and under that are not eligible to be vaccinated. Part of the draw for field days is some STEM activities where you present what amateur radio is and what sciences are behind it, and get them involved. And we also, on a picnic day, would have a fox hunt. We would go hide a radio transmitter, and we would have little handheld radios or whatever you were using to receive the station. And you wiggle your antenna and try and find which was the strongest direction and head that way. And then you found that, well, directions echo off a lot of different things. So the signals were kind of erratic. And then eventually somebody would find the final location of the transmitter. And so we combined those picnic days with field day events, and we're going to try that again this year. But we're not as organized in that, not everybody can attend. So the idea is that we're going to have field day with a location for people who feel comfortable coming to an event and hanging out, maybe having dinner or getting on a radio there. Or if you're still okay to work from your home and submit your logs like we did last year. So we call it a mixed version of field day this year. And that complicates a little bit, but given that Kevin has always been a participant, but he's going to be virtual this year. So he's going to be the one of the remote sites that are participating in field day. And of course, you don't have to do it as a club. You can go up on your mountaintop or camp out on a beach and do field day. The idea is it really is a promotional aspect for ham radio. It's the biggest event of amateur radio for the year. So there's a lot of ideas of why you would do it. You would do it setting up on batteries and putting up towers, because it's kind of an exercising your emergency setup events, or you would do it to see if you could. You wanted to demonstrate to people that don't know anything about radio that, hey, this is what we do. So there's, whatever reasons why you would attempt to do a public field day and set it up. I kind of like a lot of the pieces of it. I like meeting people that come by. Unfortunately, we're in a pandemic-ish way, so I'm not sure that we're going to have that many visitors. We'll see how that goes. At any rate, let's see if I can share my desktop and bring up some slides and stop talking about that anyway on the top of my head and go with something I organized. So let me give that a shot. Desktop and share. Oh, this is not good. Kevin, this is the first time I've done it, sharing from this computer, so I'm going to have to see if it'll allow me to change the permissions.
Okay. If you get stuck, I can share it.
And click. Okay, you're going to have to share it. Zoom's going to have me reboot. So.
Okay. All right, hold on. Yeah. Share.
So I'll have you do it.
Okay.
Zoe, I didn't prepare. Actually, I could use a different computer that I have used.
I've lost my mouse. Hold on. Okay. Share.
Some of this doesn't work that well in these little boxes. Go ahead and if you could get the screen view. There you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, this is what the Field Day logo looks like this year. It's got the little microphone, and that's what you'll find on your T-shirts. If you want to go out and buy an ARRL T-shirt for the 2021 Field Day.
Just show up.
And we've got more talking about that. These behind us, we have some ideas for that. So we'll get on a little bit farther. Go ahead to the next slide, Kevin. Oop. All right. This is the, yeah, I guess that was introducing me. We'll go to this one. It's going to be on June 26th and 27th. Field Day is always the fourth full weekend of June, beginning at, well, in amateur radio, we like to use universal time. And the reason is because we talk all over the world. And so we have to have something that synchronizes. But I translated that to 11 a.m. on Saturday was when the event starts. In setup, we usually start early. In 2019, we ended up setting up starting at 8 a.m. and we finished by 11 a.m. and we were ready to go. And that goes overnight. So people that want to hang out overnight and operate, there's some bands that work better at nighttime. Maybe you can come by and give it a try. It's probably going to be a lot cooler as well. And it goes to Sunday and finishes just before 2 o'clock on Sunday. And for the HF bands, we measure them in meters. So the bands that are available are listed down there as 160, 80, 40 meters, 20 meters, 15, 10, and all the frequencies above 50 megahertz. So that includes 2 meter radio and on up to satellite. Field Day, historically, we've operated using 80 meters. The 160 meters requires a significant amount of space to set up an antenna. 80 meters is what you can set up in about 200 feet or so. And we operated 40 meters, 20 meters. And as you go up in higher in frequency for the high frequency bands, they work less reliably. So 15 and 10 we've used. I think in 2019 we used 15 meters for digital contacts using FT8. I think that might be a good candidate for CW. We have band passes for 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10, so that we do not interfere with any stations that are within range of each other. So we, because when you have strong transmitters right with your antennas really close together, even though you're on different frequencies, you get this overlapping signal spread and it interferes with your receiving. So I was asking for volunteers to bring in equipment. Given when we get that information all together, we will find out what equipment's being brought, and we can figure out what antennas are brought, and corresponding with every radio, there is a logging computer, which is usually a laptop. And so we pair that logging computer with the transmitter. And we usually have 2 people operate that way, so it's less complicated. We'll have one person doing all the logging. They're good at typing, and the other person talks, and maybe they got tired of that, they'll flip positions. And if anybody wants to jump in, because it's a long amount of time to do these events, we'll gladly give up our spot and you can get on the radio. The nice thing about This is even if you're not an amateur radio with a license, as long as you have a control operator that that has a license, you can operate with their privileges. And we in field day generally use the club call sign N6NA, which is an advanced class qualification. So you have a lot of band locations that you are limited based on lesser class licenses. You know, like if you're a general class, you have a certain amount of stuff that you can run in each band. With the advanced class, you have as much as the advanced class can use, which is a little bit more space to operate. And it gives you an opportunity to find a place where people are not operating, because there's a lot of people talking at once generally. Next slide, Kevin. Let's see. The ARRL has a website on field day. If you go to www.arl.org and click on that, you can find out in great detail what this means and what everybody does, and various aspects of rules and whatnot. They do sell t-shirts on that website, and there are rules that have, based on the pandemic, that have changed some of the rules for field days, so that I will go through those in a little bit. And again, creative approaches to field day, we're not fully open in California now. It'll be kind of just the cusps of California opening. It'll be interesting to see if we can still separate enough and make everybody feel comfortable, and maybe get together for a dinner and eat at far corners of the table. Next slide. I changed the order of this, but ignoring what a Class D station is, because I actually define it later. So I actually moved this slide at the end of the day to a different location. But for 2021, Class D stations are home stations with big antennas, and they used amplifiers. They changed the rules based on last year. All these big amplified home stations were interfering with all these field stations. We could never find a spot to operate. They were kind of taking over the band, and we were getting covered up by them. They are now required that if they want to collect points, you cannot exceed the power of 150 watts. And that's kind of the maximum power that people generally use in the field as well. So it kind of evens the playing field. So that rule has changed for this year. And what else? In addition to 2021, like last year, we can do an aggregate club score. You can use your own call sign wherever you're operating. And if you want to contribute to the club's total, when you log your log of stations you worked, you can include the N6NA River City RCARCS club. And then we get this giant aggregate total of everybody that helped work for field day, for those people that like the contest aspects of field day. Next slide, please. Now here's these mysterious classes, and I'm going to go with an example in a bit because it gets long. For our N6NA, we operate our radios on battery. And so for that class, they call it Class A. And it's described here as a club or non-club group of 3 or more persons set up specifically for field day. In 2019, we were 4 Alpha, 4A. And we also had a get on the air station. That's for people who just happen to come by and want to get on a radio. We used a 2-meter radio, and it's to promote ham radio and get you on the air and get over the fear of talking on a radio with not sure who's on the other end. So there's an A, then there's a GOTA, get on the air. Then there's a B. So B is if you're a smaller group of people, like you're a family of 1 or 2 persons, and you are on battery as well, but you are not using 150 watts. You're using the low end of power, 5 watts, and you're not plugged into commercial power. You can be called Class B. We'll get into this in a minute. Next page. Of course, there's a C. So Class C is if you have a ham radio, either a 2-meter radio or an HF radio in your car, and your antenna does not have to be put up. It's part of your car. You can drive in motion, or if you're in a boat with your antenna that can be run while you're driving, theoretically, or even bicycle powered. You're a Class C. Class D, I was talking about earlier, it's a home station, people operating from a permanent location and with commercial power. In last year, we had a lot of people in our club doing Class C. That's a home station on emergency power. So we either were using power like a generator or a battery, but we were still at our home station. We used our killer antennas. So that's still possible as well. On the next page, we get into the letter F. Go ahead, the next page, Kevin. It didn't happen last year. It may happen this year because there's other states that are more open than California. They have an emergency operations center. Whenever there's a disaster, they open up a particular building with emergency power that is used as an emergency operations center. And it's kind of a hub for not particularly a home, but a special location, maybe a building that's used for emergency communications. And so in field day, you may run into these letters. I'm going to probably describe how this works with an example. Kevin, can I use you? I'm going to call out a field day call. I would like you to answer me with your call. And let's say you're in Idaho. So an exchange would look something like this. I found a frequency that was open, luckily, and I wanted to get a contact. So I said CQ field day N6NA. And luckily I got immediately answered. Go ahead, Kevin.
N6NA, this is KK6DCT.
All right, KK6DCT. Please copy. We are 3 Alpha Sugar Victor.
Okay, I copy your 3 Alpha Sugar Victor, and please copy my 1 Delta Sugar Victor.
Oh, you're all right. So what that all means is 3 Alpha means we are 3 transmitting stations. We're running battery and we're out in the field. Sugar Victor, other states, if they're small, they will choose a 2-letter acronym. Like Idaho would have been India Delta. Kevin was working from home, so he was actually in Sacramento Valley as well. So he was not in Idaho, so we ended up moving him back. And he was 1 Delta, so he's a 1 transmitter, 1 operator, and he was at home with commercial power. Confusing a sec. So if you can find an open frequency and you do those kinds of exchanges, all you got to do is plug those into your logger and you're done. So if you're afraid of what you're going to have to say on the radio and you follow that, your worst things is to try and figure out phonetics. Like ABC is Alpha Bravo, Charlie, etc. And if you don't know what they are, you might come up with Apple, battery, car, some kind of phonetics so that it's easier for people to hear, because it's often hard to hear one letter. It may sound like one letter may sound like another, but if you use it in a word, it's easier to make out. And if you can find an open frequency and you stay on that frequency, because there are no longer these giant amp people pushing you away, they call that running. You're able to run on 1 frequency and you can call CQ over and over and over again, and you get various contacts. And actually that's the most efficient way to gather contacts. The other way is you didn't find an open frequency, you just kind of tune around the band and listen for somebody saying CQ. And you start the exchange the opposite. Instead of you calling CQ field day N6NA, you hear somebody saying CQ field day Kilo Sylvia 6 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And so you answer them with your call, in this case, by saying your call sign. I'm N6NA. And then if they hear you, they'll give you the exchange. So just a little different order. Not as bad as I'm explaining it, but it's actually pretty easy. You get the hang of it pretty quick. Next slide. Scoring points. every contact you make counts a certain amount of points, and we have a logging program that keeps track of this. But for certain kind of contacts, the point totals are more advanced. So for voice contacts, they are usually the lowest amount of points. For shortwave, using a Morse code key, they are worth more points. If you're low power, you get more points. So they're all described there by a power multiplier. So digital contacts count as 2 points. Kevin was using FT8 in 2019. They count the same as a number of points as if you're making a Morse code CW contact. But digital contacts are more, the computer's doing most of the work for you, and CW, you're doing the encoding and decoding generally. The thing that's good to note here is if you have a station that's got more than 150 watts, you get no points. So we can work them, but they're collecting no points and contacting you with greater power than 150 watts. Hopefully that change will balance the field and make it easier for people to participate and hear each other and not be overwhelmed with strong stations. Next slide. And then there is some additional multipliers. If you are a group like our club, and we're all on battery power or generator, you can get 100 points as a group. So that's a large point maker. If you get media publicity, like getting it in a newspaper, you can get 100 points. There's a variety of ways of getting additional points other than just making contacts. And if you can do it, they're automatic, easy points. You do it once and you're there. There's also decoding messages during field day. If you're able to decode, this is kind of, I guess, in the point of view of emergency operations where they send you a detailed message. If you're able to get the entire information written down successfully, you get a certain amount of points for that. Last year, we didn't get any of these because we were all working from home, but as a public event, they're available, and we'll talk more about these. We're going to actually have a committee meeting to discuss what we're going to try and do next Tuesday. And anybody that's interested in that, we'll get to that in a bit and how you can contact and if you want to join our committee for field day. Next slide. All right, well, here's some stuff I stole from last year's presentation. We generally use a software for field day. It's a program called N3FJP. It's written by a guy with a call sign, N3FJP, and it logs, electronically logs all the states and various locations. If you have a big state like California that's broken down into 8 different locations, it automatically will help you score and put the information in. It's so there, hence we use a computer. Last year, we individually paid $8.99 to get the software. As a club, we already have the software. So for the people joining field day, you will not have to buy your own software. We will have a license to run the software as N6NA on all our laptops. We just need to get the laptops all set up in the time we were setting up for field day as well, for getting them ready to log using this software. Last year, we wanted to figure out how we could chat remotely, and we found a software for chatting called discord.com. And we created an N6NA group, and it's still kind of nice to use. Sylvie was trying to display it, but I have a background covering it up. It's nice to use to communicate in preparation for field day or getting there. So if you have some questions, it's a chat program that we all see, and we can answer questions about field day. And last year, we also used a ICOM's contest onlinescore.com. It gave us a real-time connection from the N3FJP software. So as we log stuff, we can see how everybody was doing all remotely. And that was kind of nice, but you really need internet connectivity to make that happen. So if you are working from home, you can still use that software. And you can use last year's notes on how to set that up. It's still on for 2019. We can still use it for 2020, and we can use it for this year as well if you have internet connectivity. Next slide. If you hate computers and you would like to log, you can always go back to the old ways that we used to log, which is a pencil and paper, and that gets it there. It's just when you're submitting your logs, you're going to have to total it yourself. So it's a little more complicated. It's easier to have a computer do the work for you. But at any rate, if you're just making a few contacts, paper and pencils work too, especially if you're out in the field and you don't have anything to plug your computer into. Next slide. In our case, we do plug our computers into AC outlets, so that covers our logging, but the radios are generally battery. And here's some more on contest online scoring. If you have internet, you can give that a try. That's the, if you go to a website, contestonlinescoring.com, you can log in. You'll find that we have a location for River City RCARCS. If you want to manually put in how you're doing, we can go pop in there and have a look and see how you're doing. You don't have to be live real time, but it was kind of cool to have it real time. And if you're the Discord, the chatting program I was talking about, there's a URL down here at the bottom, http://discord.gg, blah, blah, blah. You can use that if you've never used it to create yourself a login. We'd like you to use your call sign for a user ID and then make up a password. And then you can, if you have any questions about field day or you have whatever ideas, or it's a great way to submit them to our group. So if you would join chat on Discord, it even has a phone app if you don't want to use a computer, which Sylvia was trying to show. But I have this in the background, so it didn't. You can use that. We have 19 users. We tried to use it for last year, and it's kind of gone on, and we kind of use it as a general chat for any questions you have for the club, or I'm setting up an antenna, how do you do this? Or, it's beyond just a field day chatting program, but we do use it for field day. Next slide. To point out that there are other online computer programs for logging. I think that Kevin used N1MM Plus last year. These are all that the ARRL recommends for a field day logging if you have a computer. Not all of them work on all computers, but if you have a Windows computer, I think they all do work. I threw in rumlog at the bottom. That's kind of what I use for my Mac. So if you have an oddball Mac, or if you don't want to use Windows virtualization, that's your way to go for logging. Next slide. That we are meeting in person this time. We are going to have a dinner. We do it in potluck style, in that we ask people to bring a chair, and we have usually a picnic table in the middle. And if you have folding tables, we can always use extra folding tables to set up stuff. Let's see if I spelled dessert right. I was trying not to write desert. I think it's right. Is right. I can very much write desert. So we broke it up generally. If you have a call sign, like Whiskey 6 Bravo, here my call sign, you see that B after the 6. If you're A to M, whatever that letter is, bring a salad. If you have a call sign like a Kilo Sylvia 6 Whiskey, you are, oh, I typed that wrong.
You did.
That should be N to Z. Next time I will edit that and fix that. Bring a dessert. And because my wife is Kilo Sylvia 6 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and I'm Whiskey 6 Bravo, so we're bringing both. So if your family's coming and you all have call signs, by all means, bring a salad and a dessert. The more better.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia says no desserts, but I disagree.
I didn't say no.
All right. The main entree we have not discussed. We're going to talk about that in the field day committee meeting. Thoughts are that if it's a small group of participants for the dinner, we can get takeout. And if it's a large group, we can cook hamburgers and hot dogs. If you have diet issues where you don't eat meat, like hamburgers and hot dogs, let us know, and we can make sure our menu contributes to things that you can eat if you want to hang out. Given it's generally hot for field day, just coming for dinner is worthwhile and saying hello. If you want to get on a radio or you're afraid of radio, we'll stick you in front of one. It's not so bad. So if you have any suggestions for field day or you have diet issues, contact at n6na.org. We'll adjust it. We're meeting as a committee next Tuesday to discuss more about how to do the food, and we're going to get more information on who's bringing what for hardware, and we'll figure out how we're going to lay things out around the location that we're going to be. Next page. Basically, participating is to get out and have fun and try it. If you're bringing hardware, fill out a form, and Carol put this together. So as HTTP, our club website, www.n6na.org/field day. These notes will be on our website as well. If you don't, you may be able to just click it in that URL. It'll take you right to where you need to go. We're going to have a breakout Zoom meeting to help with planning for field day, like I said, next week. If you'd like to participate as a committee for that particular get together, also let us know at contact@n6a.org. Send an email. What else? Next page. Where is it? Well, not only is it the last Saturday in June, it's at this location. It's at 890, oh boy, Kruthoff Way. I don't know if I mispronounced that, but that's what it says over there in Fair Oaks. And this is from Google Maps, kind of. So over there on the right is it's in the VFW hall. It's on that little dot. There's kind of two ways to get there. You kind of take Hazel and you turn off on the K Street, the Kruthoff Way, or you go up to Sunset and come up a secret way. You can see there's another way to get there from that direction. And they have a bar and an air-conditioned area, and they have not just bar, they have soft drinks and whatnot, and they are open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and we're going to be open the rest of the time. So we'll be self-sufficient after they close, and we'll be in a kind of covered area, which I think Carol put together a video. She had a quadcopter that flew over. So the next slide is that. Let's see how well that works, Kevin. So the next slide. All right, well, I don't know in the show mode if it'll click, Kevin, so you may have to drop out and then click it.
Okay, let me see. Oh, hold on. Okay,
You may have to share your desktop to do that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
So this was 2019, and we had 4 stations set up and 4 loggers, if we can show you. And we'll talk more about that stuff. Or maybe we should talk about it now. Sylvia, do you want to talk about how we will be using some of the things that were purchased for field day?
Hello. So there's always a lot of stress about who's going to show up in the morning to help set up all the antennas and get all the radios set up and all that sort of stuff. And we haven't been in the club very long, but I've never seen that it's been an actual problem. But to encourage everyone to come out, we have a limited number of t-shirts that are up for grabs in all sizes. So folks who come out, first come, first serve, you can pick up a t-shirt. So that's kind of an extra incentive. Also, we've been doing a prize for various categories for who gets the number of points. So that'll be, there's going to be 4 categories, and the prizes are hopefully going to be 3 deep. The third place prize, which is really a trinket, not a prize, is on back order. So hopefully it arrives before field day, but we normally give these out after field day, so maybe that won't be an issue. So
Third place is a cup? Or is it
No.
a hat?
no,
Something
the
else.
first place is a hat and the mug.
Oh,
Second place is the hat. And third place is the cup that's on back order.
ah,
So
all right. Well, that's my delay tactic, Kevin. Are you ready?
nobody heard that.
Okay, right, I found it. We have a copy on YouTube, so I think I can share it from here. It wouldn't share. It wouldn't play in the presentation. It was just like an image. Let me see if I can do this. So if I do this.
Tom, while we wait, will there be a call in, somebody on 2 meters on the N6NA repeater to help people navigate to the site?
That's a good idea. We have done that in the past. We do not have a volunteer for that. So if somebody can use their handy talkie and talk people in, if they do not know how to find it, that'd be, plus if we are still out there at home, we can ask you to bring things that we found were missing. So all good.
Either send an email or put it in the chat.
Sylvia suggests that if somebody wants to volunteer, go ahead and put that in chat and we'll then know, or send it in an email so we know who's volunteering for that. Willing to do that.
That probably will change as the day and night goes by, but anytime that I'm there, I will volunteer at KL7HQR. For the time that I'm there, I'll have the 2 meter.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works. Can you see the video?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to work, Kevin.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. So that's one half of the gazebo that we operate on. There, some of our antennas. You can see the solar panels there, and she's going over the top and what things look like from the top. And the near view is a hex beam that's used for 10 meters. And between those trees is our 80-meter antenna. It's just hard to see. And then let's see, as we approach things, I can talk more. I guess you can kind of see the wire there. And then this is a portable multi-band beam. We were using that for 20 meters. I think that's a KP3. I think that's what it's called. And somebody also had a stand for that. And
The buddy stick, that vertical.
And then, yeah, there's also a buddy stick that's there. I think, Carol's going through and talking about the same thing, basically. The bottom view, there is a 2-meter beam. And beyond that is a fiberglass pole. It's called a spider pole. It's 43 feet. And it's got speaker wire hanging from it for a 40-meter beam. You can kind of see one of the wires hanging there on the left. And it was a windy day. And that's the parking lot where you park. If you have a camper or something to sleep in, all the better. In the front of our building, we had a STEM program that was done by the Elk Ham Club. And there was our banner for our radio site. So there was some flags about the Elk Grove STEM information for providing information to kids. So this is the front view looking from the parking lot, kind of.
remember to have them turn the sprinklers off.
They gave us access to sprinklers, but they kicked on early. So for anybody that was sleeping out there on the left by that of this, they got wet. So Sylvia reminds that we will try and get that turned off as a action item. And there's us in the middle here. So in the middle is the picnic table that came with the gazebo, and everybody else has the portable tables on the outside of the edges. And there's one of the ceiling fans that keeps us cool at night, or during the day. It's usually hot, which is kind of nice. And right there in that area, that's our 40-meter station. And that pickup on the right, I don't know if you can see it, there's basically a wire going out that direction for 40 meters to the pickup truck right there. And some more club members. And some down there too. This is where our 20-meter guys hung out. And that's Bob's portable ready-to-go kit, all in one. I think somebody did bring a key toward the end of the day over there. There's where Kevin was hanging out. He was doing 15-meter FT8. And then far distance is our barbecue. There's Carol. And the rest of us. Somebody was looking away. Oh, well. Well, depends on which side of the tables you were on. Another solar panel on the left. I think that was actually used for 80 meters too. I'm not sure. There were some big batteries as well. So this is the underview of let's see, where are we headed? We're going to try and show the 80-meter antenna between the trees.
It was a very windy day and I was trying to pan around. It was a little bit of a challenge.
Well, I know that a little later you're going to hit the 80-meter antenna and it's going to actually the 40-meter antenna, and you're going to tweak the little helicopter. That's kind of funny, but it didn't crash.
There you go.
Was that it?
Yep.
Little bump.
There it is.
That you hit. We do have yellow flags on the guy wires for most everything. We tried. So safety officer, we mark where stakes are and where things you have to stay away from. Try and keep people away from transmitting antennas. That's where you actually hit it. Anyway, we'll be hanging out in that little area for field day. And if you want to play horseshoe, there's horseshoe pits. But
Yeah, if you feel kind of warm, you can always go inside the VFW hall. They have air conditioning.
For sure.
But it's a very nice facility with the shade there.
So we actually had more antennas that we were operating at one time. They were kind of spare. But it gave a chance to try and set them up. And we basically set them up all in 3 hours. So I don't know that, depending on what we're putting up, I don't know that we actually need Friday. We'll find out what people are bringing and see, because I know that everything we put up there was done in 3 hours, well, easily. I also brought basic fans that I could stick underneath the tables. And so I was pointing at my feet if you got hot. So if you have a fan that you that you have at house and you just can plug it in, you can make it a lot more comfortable if you bring that and can set that up for field day as well. Get your feet cool as well, like that fan off there on the left.
Yeah, even though we're technically an emergency power station, you're allowed to use commercial power for the fans and computers. Just the radios need to be on the batteries.
Yeah, to qualify for an alpha station. Yeah. think that's it. You landed.
That's it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
That's all I had to present. Any questions? If you don't have, if you have more questions and it's not in this little chat here, we also have the Discord chat. If you can participate there, I would like people to get in Discord. It actually makes it, I guess, more comfortable to ask questions than in a group. You can just do it, and there's a lot of people that look at it, and I find it less scary to do so.
There's a,
I think we had a plan on setting up a second 20-meter antenna and 40-meter antenna to accommodate Bill's CW operations. They're separate ends of the respective bands, and if the rig's got a receiver that's not terribly sensitive, it would work quite nicely.
Yeah, we haven't done, I've not heard how to do that. I know we have bandpass filters for each band, but to work, say, on 20 meters, CW is usually done on the low end of the band, and voice is usually done up higher on the band.
Right. The filters wouldn't really come into play when you're both on the same band.
So you
But
get
since they're on opposite ends of the band, as long as your receiver's got good rejection characteristics, it should work fine. It's very common.
all right, we can try it. We can get the antennas farther apart too. Just need longer coax. So if people can bring extra coax, we have connectors, we can interconnect them and make long runs. We have to work within 1,000 feet circle. So that's, the rules are there, but if you're working on the same band, we can try and isolate your antenna farther away. And as long as your radio can be relatively close, it would work.
I don't think we've got 1,000 feet.
In this location, probably not. We can do what we can do.
got question in chat. How early can you go to set up on Saturday morning?
It's their access. There's one gate that's closed. That's the one over on coming in from Sunrise. The gates are open. Coming in from the other direction, I believe it's closed until 8 o'clock. So you can still get in there. I think we gathered in 2019 at 8 a.m.
The access off of Hazel is a major street. It comes up to a gate. I don't know what time they opened that gate on 2019, but that's always open. And basically you walk over the gate and you're on the site. So that part's easy. And the entrance through Phoenix Field, they open that park up early. I mean, that's when all the kids are doing soccer and baseball and stuff. And that takes you to the same gate. I just don't know when the VFW actually opens that gate. But again, you just walk around it. It's maybe 50 feet.
They had it open by 8. They had office, based on my map that I had earlier, they were supposed to be open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. But they actually had it open at 8 a.m. Beyond that, there was one way we could get in, one way we couldn't.
Well, I should mention to everyone that the easiest way to get in there is you just go through Phoenix Park. Drive around Phoenix Park and it takes you right into the complex. It's difficult to get on that little street off of Hazel. There's only one direction you can catch that street. So I recommend everybody use the park entrance.
All right. Phil was last time in France, so we tried listening for you. We didn't hear you, however. Any other questions?
Yeah, there was also a suggestion that people wear their name tags with the call sign. I know there are some new members that don't have name tags made yet. We're trying at the club to get the laminating machine so that we can get those that are on hold prepared. But if worse comes to worse, we could do magic marker on adhesive name labels. But we're working on getting those name tags. I know Gert is, what we're trying to do is locate the machine right now.
Yeah, you bring up another point is make sure if you bring your equipment, label your equipment so we know that it goes back with you. Not everybody stays through the whole event. we want to make sure it gets back to you. So make sure when you bring things and you're not there, get your name on it. And if you're not there to collect it, we will collect it for you and we will get it back to you.
I see a note from Bill. He's got an IC 7300. He's concerned about how well it rejects same band. Those rigs do quite well with same band. He should have absolutely no issue.
Well, I know that for CW, you can really narrow the band down, but if you've got an overwhelming signal, it could be a problem. I don't know. I have a 7300 myself.
That's what field day's for, to try all this stuff out, right?
Sylvia says it's experimental. Give it a try anyway.
Yeah, what you could try to do is orient the antennas so they're on different polarizations, or get the null of one antenna on the null of the other so they're not coupled. The problem there is the front end overload. To try to avoid that.
So you're suggesting a vertical and horizontal may help?
That could be, that's one way, yeah.
You can also take antennas and put them 90 degrees from each other, and that'll help do some separation as well.
All right, any suggestions or any other questions?
We still have the club bandpass filters, right? They're still in the trailer?
Right. As long as we're operating on different bands, we really don't interfere with each other when we use those bandpass filters. So if you have some little jumper coaxes, bring them that allow us to connect your radio to the bandpass filter, and then the bandpass filter can go out to the antenna. So bring out all the little pieces you think you can need. You probably could use them even if you're not using them.
Those filters all originally had jumpers with them, so they're probably in the jumble in the boxes there.
There is Carol had a form of equipment you are bringing. It's on the field day website on N6NA. Have a look at it and fill out your form for what equipment you are bringing. I looked at it, and when I looked at it, there was only 4 entries. So aside if you're just bringing yourself, just put your name down there, say you're coming. We'll know that when we put together food, we'll have enough for everyone.
Hey, Tom, this is Bill. I went ahead and filled out the form and sent it to you just before the meeting, so it's there somewhere waiting for you.
Good deal. I know I saw your email, but I hadn't had a chance to look again. Hopefully people will do that, and we'll see. Certainly bringing tables and chairs, even just to eat for a chair would be nice. Unless you like standing up and eating, I don't know. We have some. The bench table in the middle is with the site, so there's usually 1 or 2 of those, and then the rest are all just what we bring. So if you have folding tables, for sure bring that too. We do pair up a logging computer with each transmitter. So if we're going with 4 transmitters, theoretically, we would have to have 4 laptops set up with the field day logging software and a network connection and a place to store all the logs in a shared location. I think I can figure out most of that. Kevin was usually the person that was expert on that. So you're getting his apprentice. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, I hope aside from next Tuesday, we will put more planning to see what people are bringing.
Yeah, if they want to be on the field day committee, tell them when it is and just to in the chat.
Yes, again, Sylvia mentions we have a committee for planning field day specific details, which is next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We have a Zoom meeting. If you would like to participate, send your willingness to help and send an email to contact@n6na.org, and I'll send you the Zoom link, and you can join to get into the nitty-gritty of how we're going to do all this. But hopefully that people are just going to show up and participate. If we got it all figured out right, it'll be fun, and the planning will be done. All right. Did I miss anything, Kevin?
No, sounds good. I think you got it all covered. Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks for saving me. I'm going to make sure that I can present next time on this laptop. It's a new laptop.
I got some information. I just got an answer from the organizer of the Minden Ham Fest. It's definitely going to be held on Saturday. So no question about this Saturday, Minden, Nevada Ham Swap. Just came an email.
I could say that the Carmichael Elk Lodge people that were vaccinated walked around and we didn't think about, we were like normal people again. But because it was outdoors and there may have been people, yeah, there were people that had face masks, but in general, I think everybody was good. It was almost like normal.
Except for the person walking around with 102-degree fever.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, well, again, field day is the last weekend of June, Saturday and Sunday. Thanks.
Lots of good information, Tom. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Awesome. I hope everyone gets a chance to go out there, or those who can't get out there in person, participate from your own location anyway, and be able to share logs using the ICOM contest site that Tom got set up for us last year. And Tom, that'll be the same setup instructions we had from last year, right, for that?
Right, no changes. It'll still be there.
Okay. And if I remember right, for submitting logs, if you're working from home, I think we just sent them straight to ARL on their website, and there was a field to fill in. We just put the club name, and that was it. So it was pretty easy.
Yeah, the log submission is in a form that the ARL has already set up, and there's a chooser for what club you would like to aggregate to, and we should be on that list. I'll make sure we're on the list. It took a while to get it last time.
Okay, cool. All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Any other last minute questions or anything else anyone wants to share for tonight? All right, I think we're done then. We can wrap up. All right, thanks everyone, and have a good field day. Hope it goes well. And yeah, all right. All right, thanks everyone. Say good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, thanks everyone.
Good evening.
Bye.
Good night.